Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. This is a life well spent, and on this channel I track my financial journey. We talk about things related to personal finance, like buying a home, insurance, investing, all that sort of thing. So if that seems like something that's interesting to you, I'd love to have you subscribe and come along for the ride, and hopefully you'll, glean some information that's actually useful to you in your life. I am a single woman. I am just crossed into the 40s threshold, so that presents a different set of circumstances that a lot of people might find interesting to view, and might find something that, is applicable to them because they're at this point in their life. Or, maybe you want to watch me to just, you have a warning of all the things that while you're in your 20s you shouldn't do, because I did them and now I'm stuck like this. So, realistically, my money situation isn't like desolate or desperate, but it is not as good as it could be, and that's because of the mistakes I made in my 20s, is what it is. I have had to make my peace with that, although I still have moments where I want to kick myself so hard. But that is not the purpose of today's video. Today's video is actually a budget video where I'm going to close out my budget for the month of June. We are partway through July, so it's pretty late actually in doing, and there is a specific reason for that. And a lot of it has to do with, usually at the end of the month, I also like to kind of look at my net worth updates and kind of do that monthly, and I couldn't because I couldn't get access to one of my accounts, and it's just a whole hot mess of a thing, but I'll get to that later in the video. So without further ado, we'll get into it. And these are, this is my budget. These are my numbers. This is exactly, what I've spent, what I make, all of that. I do use a zero-based budget, which means every dollar is accounted for. It's either going to be spent somewhere on something, or saved, or, given, or whatever. But every dollar has a job to do at the beginning of the month. And I have found that that is the best way for me to make sure that I can stay on track with things. This was a pretty brutal month, the month of June, however. So, in my budget spreadsheet, I actually have a transaction log, and I keep track of everything, because if I don't, my spending goes completely nuts. Because I don't think I have spent more than I think I've spent. So I do that, but then when I'm, just going to wrap up kind of to see how I did in my budget, my mother ended up giving me $616.54. She normally, which is over by about $326. That's a notification of some kind on my phone. I ended up buying some things for her, and she reimbursed me, so that's where she ended up giving me more. I made $2,945.20. That's my take home from my regular job. And I have $6.59 of miscellaneous extra income, and I'll get to that at the end as I run through everything. Or actually, I guess I can do it now. Essentially what this is, if I look at the very bottom of my transactions, my savings accounts were paid out dividends because it's the end of a quarter. What is this? End of the second quarter. So there was dividends, and I didn't even think about it. I wasn't expecting it. I just kind of saw them in there and was like, wait, what? So great. So that's a grand total of money coming into me, $3,568.33, which is a little bit more than I budgeted. But again, most of that is just something that I bought my parents and they paid me back. So giving $10, that I think goes out to Fair Fight or Planned Parenthood, one or the other. One comes out of here and then one comes out of my giving fund, and I honestly never remember which one is which. My mortgage, $676.03. My electric bill was $34.15. I got away with having a fairly cool, my June bill is mostly May's usage, so I got away with having a very, very low bill because it was freezing. It was so cold, I couldn't turn the gas off as early as I wanted to. Gas is normally off in April in my house, but it ended up being so cold, and it was so cold at night, it kept dropping into the 30s, which I don't hate, but I also can't turn my gas off when it gets to 30. So gas is a little higher than it typically is in June at $46.92. My sewer bill's a flat rate, that's $58. My water bill was a little higher than the flat rate's like $18.97, so this was $20.07. My internet, about 125 is what I send over. And there's usually like, the fees and everything always kind of change. So some months it's like 123 something, other months it's like 124 something. So I just kind of up it to 125, and then there's usually a little hanging around extra. Cell phone, $43.39. Groceries, I spent $274.81. So went a little over there on groceries. Life insurance, that's $7.50 a month. Gas, I went over on gas. Gas has skyrocketed, and I actually ended up driving around more than I thought I was going to. So $116.70. I spent $265.54 buying some things for my parents. They did pay me back. I think I bought my mother a grill, if I remember correctly. Hers was like, we tried to fix it. There was no fixing it. So she wanted a new grill, so I had to go out and buy it. We put $100. This is a new thing for this month. We put $100 in a brokerage account for my niece. We're trying to invest some money for her to help her with things that, maybe her parents might struggle a little bit with. The extras, the kind of fun extras. So like if she wants to go on a fancy class trip when she's in high school, and, that her parents don't really want to afford that, or if, she turns 16 or 17 now, and, buys, wants to get a car, like we can put some money towards that kind of thing. That's what we're hoping to do with that money. There's a restaurant, went way over $171.74. Yowza. Personal, $260.33, and miscellaneous $7.61. So ultimately I was over $278.83 from everything that I budgeted. 265 of that, however, was the money that my mother then gave me. So super not the end of the world. Not great. Also not great. I spent $200 to my my student loans. That's the minimum payment on it. And now we can get down to my different sinking funds. So I have this sort of moving, etc. fund. So there's things in there because I anticipate maybe moving for a new job. So, and I don't really know how much it's going to cost me to like get my house ready, to sell my house, to anything. So anything that kind of is related to like, this is going in my house that's going to help sell, or furniture that like I have known that I have needed. Like I bought a desk and some shelving to kind of like just storage and organize things, which is going to be something that I need partly to sell my house unless I empty it. And, I've been wanting a desk for a long time since before the pandemic, but I was like, oh, I'll just suffer. But I have actually suffered. Like I physically have been suffering. I've been having really bad problems with my back, and so I thought, you know what, like maybe I need like a dedicated space with like a more comfortable ergonomic chair. I'm not sitting here like on a bench or on a couch or whatever, and like what have you. So I just bit the bullet. I bought the desk. I still haven't gotten the chair yet. I don't quite know what I want from that, but I will be working on that soon. So nothing came out of my emergency fund. Nothing came out of my car repair fund, but $50 went in. Put $100 into my house fund, $16 into a fund where I pay that once a year. It's a donation that I do. $15 into my garbage fund, $10 out of the giving fund. That is to whichever one doesn't come out of the other account. It's this one. So it's either Planned Parenthood or Fair Fight. My car insurance, I put $59 in my car insurance fund. And that actually has me at about $450 right now. Ultimately, I am not exactly sure. At some point in July, my bill will come out. My renewal is in August. I may decide to shop around for that. I really love the company that I use, and I love what they provide, but I was also using them for my homeowner's insurance, and they jacked my homeowner's insurance by about $200. So I went shopping around and found one that was $400 cheaper than that price. So it was saving me $200 than what I was currently paying. And I think can save like another $100 if I bundle with a car insurance. So I'm going to compare and see kind of what we're looking at. I know I overpay. This car is not worth that much money. And I definitely have it like full coverage, and I don't really need it, but it makes me feel more secure to have it. And until I can get through that in my head logically, I'm gonna keep it the way it is. My car caught on fire and my full coverage paid for it. So there's part of me in the back of my head that's like, I just had to do the deductible, you know. So part of me in the back of my head that's like, yeah, but having that coverage was good. Okay, so where are we at here? So, gift fund, I put $50 into a gift fund. I just started it this past month because I thought, you know, as things come around, I used to actually have a gift fund in cash. And so when I was shopping for, you know, anything really, if I came past something that I thought, oh my God, like my niece would love this, I'm totally going to get this, you know, and I'll give it to her for Christmas or whatever. I had the money on hand and I didn't have to worry about kind of like reworking my budget. So in going away from cash, I no longer had that fund. So I'm creating a digital fund for that. So that's the purpose of this. Let's see here. Nothing came in or went out of the cushion. My student loan fund, I ended up putting $352.16. That is well shy of what I had hoped to put in, but so be it. I currently have $5,473.75 in there. And you can see the balances right now on all of these accounts, but my total cash accounts balance then is $28,000.40. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Loving it. Loving things. Okay. Let me see here. Yeah. My weekly breakdown of spending, kind of brutal. Kind of brutal. Did not help that I shopped at IKEA and ended up getting a bunch of things on Amazon for Prime days. Now, some of the things I bought, I will say, I'm usually pretty good. I don't buy things just because they're on sale. But when Prime days come around, like I will track things, and if it's something that I've had my eye on for a while and now it's finally like really dropped in price, if I want to get it, I will get it. I ended up getting some like smart plugs that's not the only thing I got, but ultimately I ended up getting things that either I was interested in checking out and they dropped the price, or things that I absolutely knew I wanted to buy and now seemed like a good enough time to buy it because the price dropped. So is what it is. But these are all separate purchases from Amazon, if you look over here, because I was buying them as they were going on in like flash sales or lightning sales or whatever they're called. So like they're all separate purchases, which is really irritating. But is what it is. So, yeah. Restaurant, I was absolutely killed by my trip to IKEA. I made many stops to get food that day. And I went out to get, went out quite a few times to go to trivia, to try new breweries, because I was in this window of like getting over COVID and still having the protection. And before like the Delta variant ramps up. So I wanted to get out and try all of the places as much as possible that I possibly could. So yeah. Went a little nuts. It's okay. We'll survive. We'll survive. All in all, not a great month, as far as the things I've spent and whatnot, but, you know, I always kind of remind myself that if I didn't have a plan, if I didn't have a budget, if I didn't have something I was trying to stick to, it would be much, much worse. I would be putting all of these things on credit cards and then not really worrying about paying for them, which is what I did for the first 20 years of my adult life. I want to kick myself. There's easily, probably $100,000 of things that I bought that I no longer have, or can't even find, or like have been in a box for years or whatever, or that I just got rid of, threw out, whatever. Between like what I actually bought and then having put it on a credit card, the interest I paid over time probably totals about $100,000. And that makes me sick. And I don't even want to think about like what I could have done with that $100,000 if I just invested it in something else. Even if I just saved it in a bank account that earned no money whatsoever, that earned no interest whatsoever, that's still $100,000 I would have. But yeah, so I just try not to think about it too much. That can be very helpful. That can be a way that my channel is very helpful. Don't do the stupid things I did. So, anyway, thanks so much. I will see you next time. Bye.